I want you to imagine you are in a classroom. It is a quiet Tuesday morning. Suddenly, a girl in the back row starts to giggle. At first, it's annoying. Then, her friend starts laughing too. Within minutes, the entire class is roaring with laughter. The teacher tries to stop them, but they can't stop. The laughter turns into screaming. Kids are falling out of their chairs, gasping for air, tears streaming down their faces. They aren't happy. They are terrified. But their bodies won't stop shaking. This sounds like a scene from a horror movie, but it is a documented historical event. It is known as the Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic of 1962. It began on January 30th at a mission boarding school for girls in the village of Kashasha, in what is now Tanzania. 3 girls started laughing at a joke, but the laughter didn't stop. It mutated. It spread like a virus. By the end of the day, 95 of the 159 students were infected. The laughter was accompanied by other symptoms: crying, fainting, rashes, and violent outbursts. The school was forced to close. They sent the children home to their villages. But this was a mistake. By sending the infected children home, they spread the contagion. When a girl arrived in her home village of Nshamba, her parents started laughing, then her neighbors. In April and May, over 200 people in the village were stricken. The epidemic spread to a middle school in Bukoba, infecting 48 more girls. By June, it had reached the outskirts of the capital. In total, over 1,000 people were infected. 14 schools were shut down. The medical reports from the time are chilling. The doctors were baffled. They tested the water for toxins. They tested the food for fungus. They looked for viruses in the blood. They found nothing. The patients were physically healthy, but mentally, they were trapped in a loop. The attacks would last for hours, sometimes days. Victims described a feeling of being chased. They felt an intense anxiety that they could only release by laughing. It wasn't joy. It was a pressure valve exploding. And just as mysteriously as it started, 18 months later, it vanished. The laughter stopped. The villages went quiet. And the world was left asking, what just happened? So what caused it? How can laughter be contagious in a literal medical sense? Scientists now believe this was a textbook case of mass psychogenic illness, or mass hysteria. To understand why it happened, we have to look at the context. In 1962, Tanganyika had just gained independence. The country was in chaos. The children in these mission schools were under immense pressure. They were caught between 2 worlds: the traditional expectations of their elders and the strict British-style education of the school system. They were stressed. They were anxious. They had no way to express their fear. The human brain has a safety mechanism. When emotional stress becomes too high to handle, the brain sometimes converts that stress into a physical symptom. This is called conversion disorder. Sometimes it manifests as blindness, sometimes as paralysis, and in this case, it manifested as laughter. Laughter is a release. It is a way to expel energy. When one girl snapped and started laughing, the other girls, who were under the same pressure, unconsciously mimicked her. Their brains saw an out. They saw a way to release the tension. It became a social contagion. The sight of someone laughing triggered the brain to copy the behavior. It is the same mechanism that makes you yawn when you see someone else yawn, but amplified 1,000 times. This phenomenon is not unique to 1962. We have seen the dancing plague of 1518, where people danced until they died. We have seen the meowing nuns of the Middle Ages. And recently, in 2011, the Leroy High School outbreak in New York, where teenage girls developed uncontrollable tics. In every case, the cause was not a virus. The cause was stress. The laughter epidemic reminds us that the human mind is fragile. We think we are rational individuals, but we are herd animals. We are wired to copy each other. An idea can be just as infectious as the flu. Fear can jump from person to person without a single touch. The people of Tanganyika weren't crazy. They were just human. And if the pressure gets high enough, the only thing left to do is laugh. I am your host. Don't crack up. Subscribe.